How's it going, guys?
What's
Welcome
up,
to
bro?
the podcast.
Good. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Nice to be out here, man.
Yeah. So, as you know, I'm Brock. This is Chandler. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Horizon Energy Consultants. This is Sam. He's the Chief Sales Officer. We've been working together for 2-3 years. Just kind of tell me about your experience, like how we met and what brought you to the point of being a part of the C-suite.
I basically started out in a sales job at Dick's Sporting Goods quite a while ago.
Nice.
A long time ago, right? I was selling the Store Rewards credit cards and selling as many credit cards as I could. It was like my first intro into any sort of sales whatsoever. Before that, I was just school. I was the number one credit card salesman in the district. It was a lot of fun, but for every 5 credit cards I would sell, they'd only give me $25. So
Yeah.
wasn't much of an intro into the real sales industry with commission and all that. So
Jibbing you there a little bit.
What'd you say?
Jibbing you there a little bit.
Yeah, definitely jipped me there. They were making like 10 grand off those credit cards. So definitely that sucked. Started working at Costco a couple months later, as you know.
Yeah.
I was at the front. I was that guy that was Coxer Spectrum.
Yes.
That was fun and games and all, but I was getting a salary job, and then I'd make commission overrides. So I sometimes would make a little bit off commission, but most of the time it was just Coxer Spectrum sitting at the front of Costco. That definitely, I think, helped me into the solar industry, kind of segue into the idea of just taking constant rejection all day long.
Right.
That's definitely something that you need to be able to take in the solar industry with how many no's you get compared to the yeses, but makes the yeses feel that much better.
Very cool.
With that being said, I started working with Brock and Chandler probably 6-7 months later, just knocking doors. Like the rest is history, as you know. We had a lot of fun starting out together, knocking doors, and then
Great partnership ever since.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chandler?
Basically, I had been doing the same thing for like 6 years before this, as you both know, obviously. Was in a restaurant, so, really just enjoy being around people, don't like to sit down, and I get really fidgety. So it was very important that I was out and about, moving, being social and interacting. And basically my buddy offered me a job, someone that we are all very familiar with, who moved his ways to another company, but essentially it introduced us into solar. Absolutely loved it. It's a good battle. Yes and no's, like Sam said. You got to fight, and basically it's just a fun environment to have to almost convince a homeowner of something good, because solar is such a fantastic product that it really is a no-brainer if you can qualify. And these people are like, oh my God, it sounds too good to be true. Like you literally will hear that every other door, and you're like, how do I beat this, right?
Yeah.
What's the catch?
So it's just such a fun environment, such a great product, really helps people make a ton of money. The way he got me into the business was, he said, hey, you can make $250,000 in your first year. I was like, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, tried it out and look at where we are now. So it's been a great time in the industry, and our partnership has been booming ever since. So
I think solar, at least for me, like, and friends in the industry as well. When I got started in the solar industry, I was running permits, right? So I was going to the city town hall, memorizing the front desk lady's favorite coffee, bringing it to her to get the permits done fast.
That apple for the teacher.
Right. But I think what really made me mature and grow as a person was that door-to-door space. And I think, like, for everyone that's like listening to us or looks up to us or wants us to mentor them, what necessarily about door-to-door is different? Because for me, like, you can do phone sales, you can do retail sales, you can do restaurant sales, all of those things. And I think the true difference in door-to-door versus the rest of them, and why it's so good to kind of propel yourself into, the major leagues, as I like to call it, of sales, is because you get that immediate feedback. Like you get that physical response. You can tell from someone's body language, from how they're acting, that they're interested or they're not interested. And then you can also, on the transition, see them go from, a complete no to a maybe to a yes. And that really shows you, as you're going, like, what tonality worked more, what objection handling worked more. And you can see yourself and kind of learn from yourself. It's not like that classroom setting that, this is how you handle an objection. No, you actually learn what works for certain people. And that's what makes people grow so fast. And that's what makes people like the three of us mature so fast in the business world and in the sales world because you learn how to communicate at such a faster rate than if you were just sitting, smiling, and dialing all day.
Exactly. I 100% agree. I mean, when you're in the door-to-door industry, solar space specifically, it's really easy to talk yourself out of putting your full effort forward, because if you fail, you could say I didn't put my full effort forward.
Yeah.
It's really easy to quit. It's really easy to give up because there are so many no's in the solar industry.
Right.
Half of the doors you hit on are going to be no's. But I think what kind of drew my attention so much from really putting my all into solar and switching over from really just half-assing it at Costco or Dick's is really like, okay, at Costco is like, okay, you're making this salary, you're making this base pay. You could sell enough jobs and possibly make more than that, but that's if you sell enough jobs. But no matter what I did, if I went and sat in the bathroom and ate chicken bakes the whole day, I'd still get my same base pay every single day.
Yeah. There's no motivation to make the next step.
Exactly. There's no motivation to really push yourself to drive. You get into that sink or swim mentality in the solar industry because it really is.
Yeah.
No one's going to go out there and make a deal for you.
Right.
No one's going to convince a homeowner. No one can change the situation that you're currently in besides yourself.
Yeah, and you're not getting paid 8 hours a day from 9 a.m. to 5. You have to get up and get it done, or the money's not going to hit the account.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a bit of a deterrent for a lot of people that want to come into the solar industry, because it's like, this is a big risk over reward. I mean, I'm putting my all into it. I might be slowing down with school. I might quit this other job, but if you do put your all into it and you really grind it out, even just for your first 6 months, you're going to realize you get a lot less no's in your 6th month.
It's such a fun challenge too. I mean, like, every door is like a life lesson.
Yeah.
Like, and often you meet people on the doors who will literally change your perspective on what you're doing.
Yeah.
They will tell you about their experience or their interactions with other door knockers, or how they knocked doors for 15 years in the past and they're driving Raris and Lambos, and you're like, shit, how do I be like this guy? And he just told you how to do it just by knocking on this guy's door, and you're making money or networking at the same time. It's a beautiful space.
Something that I think always kind of motivated me when I was at the doors and I was getting a lot of no's, and you're in a nice neighborhood and people are slamming the door in your face like, oh, not another door-to-door salesman. And then you knock on that one guy's door with the Ferrari or with the brand new X5 or the McLaren, and hey, how's it going? My name's Sam. I'm doing this, 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 and this. Whatever your spiel is, even if he's not going to buy from you, he's going to sit there, he's going to hear you out, and he's going to say, you are 10 steps ahead of anyone around you.
Right.
You are grinding. You're doing exactly what you need to do to be in the place that I am. And I think that's what's so cool about the solar industry is people recognize hard work.
Right. Yeah, I think all in all, like you mentioned, people that come into this field, you know, if it's with Horizon, if it's with another company, there's a lot of opportunity there. And a lot of people like want to be entrepreneurs, but you know, the fact is, you know, in the solar space, the average solar entrepreneur that's by themselves, they make $46,000 a year. And if you truly want to change, you know, what you have, your financial freedom, if you want to get that opportunity to maybe be an entrepreneur in another field or invest in real estate, it's really important to find a company that you can like hitch your wagon to, that gives you the tools to succeed, that gives you that mentorship. And then, you know, it's ultimately up to you to just go and do that. And I think that's a way better alternative than, you know, going to the rat race, the 9 to 5, that maybe, you know, generations before us have statistically done. They've worked for the same company for 30, 40 years. It's nice to work for a company like Horizon that, you know, gives you a plan for 3 years and says, hey, if you follow this plan, you know, this is what we recommend you do. You know, you're going to gain that financial freedom to invest in real estate, to do this, to do that, and truly set yourself apart and reach those goals that you want to reach. So all in all, you know, I think for anyone that's looking to get into the door-to-door space or just looking for a change of pace, you know, if you want to grow as a person, and right now you're sitting at the table, you know, you're watching this and you're thinking like, I can't knock doors. I was in the same place as you. Like, I literally was so nervous the first time I started knocking doors. I was embarrassed.
I knocked on my mom's bedroom door for like an hour, and I couldn't even talk to my mom. I was like, how am I going to talk to some strangers?
Right. I remember growing up as a kid and hearing about like the Xerox machine guys that would go.
It's like, if anyone knocks on your door, just say no. And like, you knock on the door and some kid just says no, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's something that we were all nervous about initially starting. And, you know, the dynamic changes, because if you're selling a product or you're pushing a product, that is truly beneficial for people, and becomes a lot easier. So make sure that you have that information about the product that you're going to do. And if it benefits the customer, like, you have to have that passion, that conviction for the product yourself to see your full potential. And I think that's important for, like, what company that you select to work with, because they have to make sure that you believe in the product. Because if you don't, subconsciously homeowners are going to pick up on that. I don't care how good you are. The best of the best in the industry. I can go and sell something to a homeowner very easily that's not, the best situation for the homeowner, but, I choose not to do that. And if I did do that, I'd be performing at way lower numbers than if I'm selling a product that I actually believe in. So, all in all, if you're looking for an opportunity to kind of change your personal life and pivot, commit to a company that you can hitch your wagon to, that gives you a path of success, and then fully commit to it. So many people out there don't fully commit just so you have an excuse why it didn't work out. You have a reason. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that. But all in all, you got to make sure that you fully commit to it, because if you do, then you'll see the success. You'll see the benefits. It's not a particular type of person that succeeds in door-to-door. It's a person that fully commits, because you can transform kind of your whole thought process and dynamic of becoming successful in the door-to-door space.
So Brock, on the topic of committing and goal setting, why don't you tell us just a little background story on how you came from working with an installer, submitting their permits, to now running a sales brokerage and being the CEO, from $1,300 in your account to absolutely being
what helped you
abused.
really get that belief in yourself to make that jump forward to, okay, I'm no longer going to take this salary, I'm going to go make it on my own?
Yeah, I think for me, like, I always aspired to be an entrepreneur, and not for the reasons that a lot of people think. Like, if you want to be an entrepreneur just because you want to have money, you want to be rich, that's good. That's part of it. But you have to want more than just that. Like, I wanted freedom. I personally wanted freedom. I didn't want to have to work or answer to anybody else. I wanted the ability, most importantly, to help other people. Because at that point, like, I wasn't in the financial position to be like, hey, yeah, I can help you obtain success. I more so just was like, what, I want more from my life. So, I stopped doing the permits. I know I had a very close friend that, I worked for, and I said, hey, I'm going to part ways with this permitting job, and I'm going to go try to sell. And, at first everyone was like, hey, that's such a hard job. That's not the right choice. There's no guaranteed money. It's such a big risk. And, I just fully committed to it. Like, there was no other option for me. Like, I had to make sure I got sales. And if I didn't get sales, I wasn't going to pay my rent. I wasn't going to be able to pay for, my vehicles, food, anything.
But of course, you had the option. You could have went and stayed at the permit job and kept making that money. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Why? What was it in you that just said, I need to do this? This is me.
Yeah.
I'm tired of clocking in at work. I want to be my own boss.
Because there's something that you turn the corner with you. Being in construction, being in school, wanting to be a lawyer, running permits as a side job, to hold on, what am I doing going down this, as you say, the 9-to-5 rat path? It's like, what am I doing the same thing over and over again when I could be changing lives? Yeah,
I think really, I just kind of followed where the money was. When you're doing all those permits, you look at the jobs, you think, okay, well, where's all the money being made in this? These systems are tens of thousands of dollars. I'm making $50 a permit. What is, the point of this? I've always been good at talking. I've always enjoyed talking. And I think the competitive nature in me was like, I don't want to compete against people for who submits the most permits. I wanted to kind of show what I was worth and change my life in that way. I was sick of making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. I wanted to do better than that, and that's when I thought, there's no one's going to give it to me. I don't have a college degree. I don't have a job lined up for me that's going to pay me a lot of money. I had to make it for myself, and the best way for me was to start knocking doors.
Yeah. So kind of on that note, Brock, we've talked a lot about kind of not only being able to say, like, first off, let me take it back. We talk a lot about not being able to put a value on someone's self-worth, not being able to say you're worth $21.50 an hour, while you, with this set of skills, you're worth $31.50
like
an hour.
The 1099 versus W-2 thing.
So where do you think you really kind of, did you learn that for yourself from going from that hourly job to that full-on commission-based salary? Did you learn that from someone around you in the industry? Where do you think you really got that from? Because seems like it's basically our entire set of core values as our company is changing people's lives, is showing them, hey, why the fuck are you working a 9-to-5 job making $15 an hour at Lobster West when you can come make $100,000 in 6 months doing solar?
Yeah, I think that when you're young and, you don't have a family, you don't have a ton of responsibility per se, I think it's a lot easier to make that jump. What I like to say, and how I got these thoughts, I think it's just because I'm a thinker. I stay up at night, I read, I think. And I thought out of cockiness maybe, or confidence, I would rather use, I was like, who are you to tell me how much I'm worth an hour? Who are you to tell me how much I'm worth a year? No matter how hard I work that year, maybe next year I'll get a 7% boost in my salary, but nobody I think has the value to tell me how much I'm worth an hour and how much my time's worth, because I can prove them wrong. I can work harder. And I think that's where a lot of people become stagnant and complacent in their careers, is because they think, I'm getting my check either way, and you never push yourself. And money aside, that's just not good for you. You always want to be growing in every area of your life. So that was kind of my mindset on it. And I think that in the same right, I've made millions of dollars from this company, but I still don't have the right to tell someone, hey, you're worth this much an hour. This is what your salary is worth. I think people have to go and prove it, because, I can't even tell you what you're worth. And at the same time, they don't even know what they're worth, because they haven't truly given their all to something to see what they're able to obtain. So I think it's a fair transaction in telling someone hey, I think that you should, do this 1099 and not W-2, or I think you should do anything 1099, not W-2, not just for the tax advantages, but because you truly can unlock a lot more strength and success from your life just by working harder, because you are responsible for how much you make. And you're going to see a lot more come out of you that you didn't even think you had, and just start unlocking different things about your personality that really show how much you're worth.
And you have to be willing to take risks and fail. And the most successful people on this planet have failed the most by far.
Right.
So with that being said, Brock, I think that not only do we have those core values that we really base our whole ethics around on our company, but you've been able to show me, and you've been able to show Chandler the same, that, hey, no one can tell you how much you're worth an hour. You've been able to put that through my mind in such a way that it is helping me realize my true potential. It is helping me really feel fulfilled, feel
responsible for how well you do.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone put a cap on your head.
How do you think that you got that idea through to me? Because I definitely wasn't the same person I was 3 years ago when I first met you.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've come a long way. And I think truly the way I express my leadership qualities is I just try to show the mistakes that I've made, and I'm upfront about them, because I've made a lot of mistakes. And I think I try to teach them to everyone else, and especially you two, so you can avoid the same mistakes that I've made. Because I have taken a lot of risks. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on leads, and nothing's come from it. So we've had that discussion before, hey, let's increase our lead budget. And I was like, hey, I've made that mistake before, and I've lost a lot of money doing it, but we can try it.
Well, yeah, you're always willing to try something new, and that's why the company keeps leveling up. Is you got to be willing to fail, and there's always success and failure. You just got to get back up.
Yeah,
can't just be stagnant with it.
Well, kind of on that topic, but shifting a little bit, where do you see the most growth in Horizon over the next 6 months? Like Chandler, what are you working on to really make sure that Horizon continues to increase its trajectory like we've always been working towards?
Right.
And then Sam, what are you working on the sales point, to make sure that we have a really strong recruiting class every month, to make sure that, we have the proper pitches, the proper sales slicks, and the content to make sure that our reps are successful in the field?
Yeah. I think Horizon has, and this is something the three of us have worked on together, has thrived with sub-dealers and creating good partnerships and relationships with other brands or other companies that want to be a part of the industry, and just kind of want to get their foot in the door and learn about it before they jump all in. And they typically jump all in with us. And it's really fun handling and dealing with big teams across the country, because you get to see different markets and different types of people and different ways to sell and all sorts of stuff. But realistically, really, I think Horizon does best with building relationships and partnerships. I feel like we're three very likable, outgoing dudes who do our best to treat other people well and network. So I think our biggest advantage is just our network.
Yeah, I think the subdealer model is kind of where we really differentiate ourselves from other companies. You know, we go into these businesses that are excellent businesses with fantastic owners that have the right moral values, and we say, hey, you know, you sell a lot of roofs, you have great reviews, you sell a lot of HVAC systems, you have a lot of reviews, and we help them essentially have a whole solar division, and, you know, that we can either run their leads for them and sell their jobs for them, or we teach them how to do it and support them and make sure their jobs get built out. And that's truly a really good path for us. So I think, you know, if you're out there listening to this and you own an HVAC company or really any home improvement company, feel free to reach out to us, because we've made our subdealer partners lots of money and really, you know, money on customers that they've already profited off of. That's just extra money. So it's important to look at that and say, okay, you know, maybe I should get in the home improvement space, you know, and adopt a little bit of solar, because it's really good for my customers. It's another service I can offer. I'm already at the kitchen table. I think that's a great point, Chandler.
And then kind of on the flip side of that, for companies like Horizon Energy Consultants that want to start branching out and making partnerships with, like, the partners we have in Florida, the roofing companies, the HVAC companies, and building those relationships, it's important to really be able to bring value to the table and not just take away value, because in the end, it is a partnership. You need to both benefit from that. And if I can come to Matt down in Tampa and say, hey, if over the next 12 months, I can make you over $1 million off of purely solar sales, combined with your roofing efforts, you have an amazing company, you have great reputability in the industry, it's going to be really easy to make this partnership work. If I can do that for you, can you introduce me to your other roofing guys? Can we start working with your friend companies? And that's really what's going to grow us, I think, in the long run, is being that reputable company in the industry that other companies like the pals we have in Tampa feel comfortable with saying, okay, I know that I have this big reputability in the industry. I know that we have great reviews. We have tons of lead generation, not even from ad spend, just from the reviews that we have online. If you're an ethical company and you know what you're doing and you do stuff by the book, if you come to these companies and show them the value that you can bring them, it's not going to be a hard choice for them to at least give you a chance.
Yeah, I think it has to be a win-win, right? If anything in business is a win-win, you're going to have at least a chance, the foot in the door, to show the value that you bring.
A win-win-win.
Win-wins. Garlic butter. Lots of garlic butter in the wins.
Tell me a little bit about our recruiting process and how, kind of as a group, we decide on who we want to put our time into. Because in the end game, like you always say, waste my money, don't waste my time. If we're out there working with somebody, knocking at the doors of them and doing training with them, and it's not even if they're not good, but if they're not trying, like...
So we don't like oxygen thieves, as Brock would say.
Yeah.
You have to know when to say, okay, that's it. You're not putting what I need you to put into this. You're wasting my time that I could spend with other reps that I know are going to be better. So, like, where's that point of differentiation? Because we don't need guys that are fucking A1 door-to-door salesmen. We don't need guys that can absolutely go out on the doors tomorrow and crush it. We need guys that are willing to work hard, that are motivated to change their lives, make some money, and do what it needs to be done to finish the job.
So as far as like the recruiting process goes, and this is something that I'm continuously learning even today, but I think that, you know, up front, you have to have some sort of training platform, or some sort of like rigorous training schedule that makes the people, you know, truly commit to it. You know, it's not like I'm going to do half my training now and half my training next week. You know, it has to be kind of upfront. When you have that start date and people have to commit to doing these things and hitting these milestones in a short time, I think you'll see a lot of the stragglers drop off in that. Secondly, like, just be very organized and make sure they have the tools to succeed. And even if they have more tools than they possibly need or understand at the start, it at least shows them that, you know, there's going to be a lot of stuff to learn and they have to commit to learning it. So that helps. But also, like, you know, it's part of the business. There's going to be a large number of people that won't fully commit, don't believe in themselves, don't have that conviction. And really any type of person would be good at this. Like, from personalities that are super shy to people that they talk really quietly. Like, we teach all of that stuff. It's if you want to see if you're successful at anything, not just door to door, fully commit to it. And then you actually know if you don't have what it takes. But if you're at the right company, they should be able to teach you what you need to do to be successful. So as far as recruiting goes and like, you know, panning out the good people versus the bad people, give them a hard process, set them on a really rigid goal structure. Like if they go a whole month and they don't sell more than 2 jobs, put them on performance goal. If they don't sell 3 jobs the month after, you know, then they're going to have to terminate that agreement between that 1099, because, you know, it's important that you hold people accountable, because you're only going to be as good as your worst sales rep. And, you know, if there's people that are just hanging out, not doing much volume, it's just bad for the whole company as a whole.
So Brock, how do you think you kind of feel, because you went to Point Loma, you went through school, you're 1 credit away from getting your law degree, or at least about to take the bar, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about someone who's gone through school and then decided, hey, this isn't for me. I don't want to get stuck in a career that I don't like? Because originally I was a mechanical engineering major. I was 6 credits away from just transferring over and finishing up my degree at school before I started solar. And then obviously that's not my path anymore. So how do you think that people can go from going all into school, spending all this money on a degree, and then saying, okay, maybe I don't have to use that?
Yeah. So I have a very interesting take on like higher education as a whole. I did spend 3 years in university.
I'd just like to mention that the 3 of us all went to college and the 3 of us all did not finish.
Correct. Yes.
And look at us now.
So I don't want to go out and say like, I don't think school's a good idea, but I'm going to say I don't think school's a good idea for about 90% of the people that decide to go. First things first, like, you know, you're young, you don't know what you want to do yet. And if you're going to go to school and get in $100,000 of student debt to have a communications degree to end up working again in a restaurant, being miserable and not finding your true passion, like that's not the path that I recommend people take. I think that unless you're going to school for, you know, to be a nurse, to be a doctor, to be an engineer, and that you're getting an actual degree or a certification to work in that field, I don't think it's worth it. I think that people nowadays should look differently at things.
Sorry to butt in really quick. I think the one very important thing, if you are going to school, and we are not talking about school by any means, but there is one very important thing in my mind that is important about school, and it's the value that it brings is commitment and discipline. It's that it teaches you how to get something done, whether you need to learn this topic or not, whether you're going to use 2+2 later in life. It's the fact that you got up, you went to class on time, you did the assignments, and you completed them. It teaches you that every morning a job needs to get done, and if you don't get it done, then you will fail.
Yeah, I think accountability is really the best thing that school teaches, like you said.
100%.
So I think reconsider, like if you're, you know, about to start university or maybe in university and you just feel like what you're learning isn't the career that you want to take, then readjust. I think people I'm from Canada originally, people in the United States are going to start to pivot because we're seeing trade schools like always looked down on, right?
Yeah,
like everyone's like, oh yeah, electrician, plumbing, HVAC.
Yeah.
Like that's not the case.
Those people.
Like these baby boomers that have been in those fields make millions of dollars owning companies in these spaces. And, you know, even if you don't own the company, you're still making $150,000 a year being an electrician in most states, much more than you would if you know, were an accountant or something like that. So I think people have to start looking at like trade schools and like construction oriented jobs, because that's where the money's going to be made. Like, you know, there's a lot of electricians needed, and a lot of them are aging out. A lot of them are baby boomers that are retiring. And if, you know, you want a very high paying job, you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you just want to have a good 9-to-5, then look at trade school, because there's so much opportunity there. Like these people are making hundreds of dollars an hour doing jobs that are very, very professional. There's a lot of pride going into it. And I think that people have to stop looking down on trades jobs, because ultimately they're going to be the highest paid people in America pretty soon.
Blue collar work is going to be the only thing left after ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me a little bit about kind of living the entrepreneurial lifestyle, Brock. Like what you love so much about it, why it's like, why you know and why I know and why Chandler knows, like this is the life for us.
Where's your balance? And I ask this because on top of Sam's question, you work 15 hours a day. Where's your balance in social and social life and business? And
well, first of all, like being an entrepreneur, you're under a lot of stress because, you know, I have like my own personal bills and stuff, and, you know, that's one thing, they're covered. But like I'm responsible for everyone in the company's pay, their jobs. I have to make sure that, you know, money's always coming in and going to them because, you know, that's their life on the line. That's their livelihood. So there's a lot of stress, you know, especially with like legislation changes, the industry changing. You know, I think it's important that like I always have to be on my A game, and that's why I work so much. But once, you know, you're in the swing of things and, you know, you have a little bit more of an understanding and your business has the right people on it and you've delegated the proper tasks, I think that, you know, you can enjoy your life a lot more than maybe working a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because like the three of us, like we have schedules, we have commitments, we have meetings that we have to do, and we work a lot, but, you know, we hold each other accountable and we have the freedom to do a lot more than other people. Like, you know, we can just be like, you know, this next week coming up, I'm going to block off, you know, 4 hours and go golfing, or, you know, I'm going to take some personal time and do a 2 to 3 day, you know, vacation or mind retreat. And I think that like taking that time away to benefit yourself goes a lot further than if you were just like, yeah, I have 2 weeks of vacation time a year. Like that's that. Yeah. You have to kind of prioritize things a lot differently when you're doing that. And that's not to say like, if you do work a 9 to 5 right now, like I promise you, I'm speaking proof of it, that there's more time in the day. Yeah. There's more time in the day to work on your side hustle, work on yourself. Like I think a lot of people don't think there is, and what it boils down to is like they're hanging out with the wrong people outside of work or at work. If you're hanging out with the right people, you know, they'll work a 9 to 5 and then they'll go work another full-time job, either on themselves, bettering themselves, learning something, a side hustle, whatever it is. There's a lot of time in the day.
Passive income, cash flow. There's so much you could do.
I think Warren Buffett said, I can tell you your goals, your aspirations, and your ambitions by the 3 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah, you can. I can tell you your future based on.
If you hang out with 5 idiots, you're going to be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's really important. I mean, you know, for me, like I have, you know, Jordan Geets owns like the largest installation company in California, top 2 for sure.
ESP.
And you know, he's been a great partner to do a lot of our jobs here in California and install them, but more than that, he's been a really good friend because, you know, I'll be like, oh, I sold this many jobs today, you know, super excited. I'll be like, yeah, we did this many. And I think it's always a good wake-up call to have people like that in your life. Or like, you know, Aaron Wagner is a guy from Alberta, very, very successful. You've probably heard of him. We'll make sure we tag him here. But, you know, it's always like, wow, I'm doing such cool things. And then, you know, you go on Instagram and you see Aaron Wagner and, you know, he's self-made and has 3 jets. So it's like, you know, there's people doing a lot better than you at every single level that you're at. And there's even people doing better than Aaron Wagner, but it's good to surround yourself with people like that because, you know, just go look around. Like look in your neighborhood, look, you know, in your zip code. There's so many multi-million-dollar mansions. Have you ever been in a room, and just ask yourself this, you ever been in a room where like 90% of the people were smarter than you? And the answer is probably no, there wasn't. So there's never been that many people better than me. So when I realized like how the world worked and that, you know, a lot of people that are pretty dumb and don't have a lot of information and not very committed have obtained success, whatever that means to you. If that's the fancy cars, if that's the fancy house, then you realize that you should be able to do it too. Like it's not hard to buy, you know, a Mercedes. And then the reason it isn't is because, you know, tens of thousands of them are sold each and every single day. You just got to figure out how to do it, how to prioritize things in your life. And if you do that, no matter what you're in, we're in the United States of America, like you're going to make money. There's people playing video games all day right now making money.
Millions of dollars playing video games.
You just got to find not necessarily what your passion is, but you got to just figure out kind of how to monetize it and how to commit to it. So,
and honestly, I feel like the grass is always going to be greener on the other side. You could be CEO, you could be a CSO, you could be COO, you could be an employee, you could be a cash register. Like no matter what you're doing, 9 to 5, 1099, you're always going to look at another job and be like, wow, that sounds better than what I'm doing. But what you need to do is just figure out what you like to do and commit to it. And just get disciplined and get up every day and just get it done. Find people that are going to make your life easier, network with them. Your network is your net worth. It's honestly...
That's great. Your network is your net worth. It's like my grandpa always said, it's about who you know. It's not what you know.
Right.
You know, because you could grind your ass off on the corporate ladder for 10 years and start and get to a job where somebody might know somebody and they send a great email and they're starting out at that place. They're 10 years ahead of you just because they worked a little harder and knew a little bit more people.
Right.
Network, get out there, meet people.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about like if you could go back 2 years, you know, and tell yourself something that maybe you've learned now what would you tell yourself like 2 years ago?
I got
a
it.
perfect answer for this.
Okay.
So the exact thing I would say to myself is, you are going to make it. And the thing with that is, like, if I had the self-belief in myself 3 years ago or 4 years ago that I had the self-belief in myself now, it's like, that's so much worry out of my head. That's so much stress. That's so much overthinking. That's so much more time that I could have spent making more money, meeting more people, grinding harder.
Do you think that worry, or maybe that self-doubt, which all of us have, you know, if I could have said, hey, you know what, you'll be successful 2 years ago and guaranteed it and promised you it.
Which he did.
Yeah. But if like I could have actually given you that conviction that you knew you're going to make it, you think that you maybe would have worked a little harder? You may think maybe you would have done things a little bit differently? You think that kind of clouded your judgment a bit?
I think if someone walks up to you and goes, you're going to make it, I think you're going to work less.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you're like, shit, I'm going to make it.
That's a good side point,
right?
too.
Yeah.
That's a good side point. That sink or swim mentality got me to the point where I am right now.
Right, exactly.
Not knowing that I'm going to make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what I mean more is like not knowing that you're going to make it. It's just to have your belief in yourself.
Right. It's the commitment.
Yeah.
It's the commitment in you to do it.
Yeah.
And just stop sitting around.
What's the Beans and Babes guy's name?
The guy with the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. He has a Lamborghini Urus, owns a lot of coffee restaurants across the valley. And
Sweet guy.
Great looking chap. And we meet him in Scottsdale one time, and we just see him on the street, and Brock introduces us, and this guy looks kind of gnarly, right? Like he's got total face tats, like right here all the way down. He's all tatted up. Looks like a cool ass guy, just driving.
Amazing entrepreneur.
Yeah, awesome guy. And I asked Brock, I walk away, I was like, what's up with all the face tats? Like that's kind of gnarly, right? And he's like, well, I asked him the same thing one time, and Brock told me this. He's like, I asked him the same thing, and he said, it's because I'm never going to need another job. I have enough belief in myself that I can tap my entire face off and not give an absolute shit about what anyone thinks of me at a job interview, because I'm never going to need one. I work for myself. I think that having that belief in yourself, that's unbelievable. Anybody that puts their all into it that way, anybody that has that much belief in themselves, dude, they are going to make it. He's never going to need a damn job in his life.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, he's an amazing entrepreneur. And I think that like confidence is truly like spewing out of him. Like he's just confident. He knows he's going to make it.
It radiates.
And he's a good person. And he's all
so
around
kind.
positive.
Yeah.
So kind.
If you meet someone and you're like, damn, this guy is hard. He knows what's up, and then he's just a sweetheart. You just respect that person so much more. You're like,
totally.
Not only does this guy look like he has it, he actually has it.
Yeah, like we barely know him, and like he would go to lunch right now. Like that's how good of a guy he is.
It was great.
And that's probably why he's so successful. I mean, like he has a beautiful family, he has unreal cars, and truly, you know, he's someone that like a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, like, you know, that's a really good vision of someone that's made it.
Yeah,
you know, he's in the coffee space. You're competing against Starbucks. You're competing against every other coffee shop.
Talk about a saturated market.
Yeah, and he's made it work. And not just work, he's made it excel and be extremely successful. So
tell me a little bit more about kind of, if somebody's just starting out in the solar industry, they don't know anything about it, right? Coming from school, coming from a different job, a 9-to-5, what can they expect from their first few weeks, from their first few months, production-wise, earning-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different for everyone, but if you follow the process that we have in place, and you want it, right? The process is set up to give everyone the tools that they need to succeed, but we're not going to hold your hand to get there. And that's just to protect the company, to make sure that we have the right people. Like if you want someone to hold your hand the entire time, Horizon's probably not the company for you. But if you have that more entrepreneurial, that more, go and get it type of mindset, the earning potential, then Horizon's the company for you, because we're going to give you everything you need. You go out there and make it happen. We'll help you, assist you, help you close your first couple jobs. When you're first starting out, you can get some M1s, which are milestone 1 payments, which means that, you get a couple $1,000s if you sell a couple deals in the first few weeks, and then you have to wait for those installs. And depending on the area, we're probably averaging around 28, 29 days. So I would say that, like, for anyone coming into Horizon, what's expected, I think it's safe to say if you close 5 deals right in your first month, I think it's pretty safe to say that month you'll have about $5,000 of pay, and then about 30 days after that you'll have about $25,000 to $30,000 of pay. So your first 2 months, your monthly average is about $15,000 if you can sell 5 jobs your first month.
Basically, when someone gets hired, we do a training process on both our sales side and our software side. We expect you to put homework in, so time in outside of work. It's basically like if you play a sport, you're not going to show up on game day and just play. You're going to practice 5 days before. That means when we expect you to knock doors, you should be practicing before the doors. You do not practice on the doors, because every door is a missed opportunity if that's how you're approaching your work.
We don't burn doors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically, like Brock said, we expect you to come in and get it done. We do not like culture cancel, or that's not the right word. How would you put it?
We don't like cancers in our group. So what
culture
what Chandler
cancers
means
is
by
what
that
I meant, yeah.
is if you have 10
Eeyore
guys,
mentality.
Eeyore
Yeah.
mentality. God,
Right.
oxygen thief. We fucking hate these kids. If they're in the office and we've got 12 guys that we're doing a training with, and everyone's writing down notes and everyone's listening, and there's one kid in the back and he's sitting on his phone swiping through Instagram.
It's like, we're not paying you hourly or salary, but that does not mean you get to just sit there and putsy around. We expect your full attention. We expect you to put your full effort, because we guarantee some things. We guarantee you're going to make money, and we guarantee you're going to like your social life, and you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
However, we can't put you on that track if you do not follow our guidelines.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
100%. I think it's important to realize that like if someone comes into Rise, and I can guarantee that they're going to be successful and they're going to make money if they follow my process and if they put in the work. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't force it to drink. So if you're coming into the company and you're looking for a job, like, make sure you're fully committed to it. We do not even want the application or the waste of a time for an interview if it's like, yeah, I'm still working my restaurant job.
Why are you applying for jobs if you don't want to work?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to come in and half-ass it, why?
Yeah.
Just stay at the
You're not
restaurant.
getting an hourly wage.
Yeah.
Like, make more money somewhere else.
Yeah, right.
The thing about the solar industry that's different than anything else is you got to put your all into it. I mean, if you really want to make it in this industry, if you want to make $1 million in your first year, your first 2 years door knocking, it's not going to come if you're working half the time at another restaurant. You'll never get there.
Right.
We've had reps make 20,000 in their first year, and we've had reps make 800,000 in their first year.
Do you think Messi was growing up playing baseball and soccer? Like, no, soccer.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important just to fully commit to it. If it's not, door-to-door space, if it's, another job, go in there fully committing to it. Don't be like, I'm going to feel it out, see how it is in 3 months. No,
Right.
Go fully commit, then reevaluate in 3 months. Because I promise you, the result is going to be very, very different if you do that.
And at bottom line, you're going to learn so much. You're going to build yourself as a person. You're going to level up no matter what.
Whether it's communicating, whether it's learning about your own potential, whether it's learning about how much you can make, what you're worth. You will learn.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, whether this doesn't work out for you or it does, like Chandler said, you're going to level up as a person. If I looked at myself on the train and sat next to myself 3 years ago, I would not recognize the kid that I see, because I am so much different. I've grown so much in the last 3-4 years with Brock and Chandler by my side, leading there to mentor me, that there's nothing I can't do now.
Right.
So, Brock, if I was in your position, just taking a step back here really quick, if I was in your position, I'm working a 9 to 5, just like me and Sam were, and we want to take the next step. We're tired of people telling us what to do every day. How do I start a business? How do you even where's step A?
Yeah.
Screw step C. Where's A?
Yeah. No, a lot of people ask me this. Like, how do I start a business? How did you start a business?
Right.
And I might have a different take on it than a lot of people, because a lot of these entrepreneurs, or these Instagram entrepreneurs, quote unquote, they're like, find your passion and then make a business about it, and that's where they leave it. And for me, like, it's not about finding your passion at all. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I am passionate about selling solar panels. That wasn't me. I think what you have to do is you have to research what people want and what can sell. So, it's almost better when starting a business to go and sell the product and then figure out, how to make it happen. Like if I wanted to start, a solar business, I'd be like, I'm going to go there and sell, solar panels. I know how much this costs. I know this. And if someone says yes, then I'm going to order the materials. Then I'm going to figure it out, because then there's a lot less risk involved in it. And if you're doing that, you're going to find the product that actually makes sense that you can build a business around. if you're passionate about bouncy balls, but there's no market for them, you're not going to be successful at it. So quit listening to those Instagram influencers and those people that say, do what you're passionate about. I wasn't passionate about solar panels, but I've made a lot of money to allow me to do what I'm passionate about now. And I don't think Sam or Chandler were passionate about solar panels, and they probably still aren't. I mean, yeah, they do some cool stuff. They help people save a lot of money, but like, I don't wake up dreaming about solar panels, and that's okay.
And I'll tell you one thing, a homeowner has never woken up and said, I want to buy some solar today, right?
Yeah.
So kind of going off that passion, finding what you're passionate about, that is total BS when it comes to product, when it comes to sales. But when it comes to lifestyle, I necessarily think that's really true. And I think Brock has partly shown me that is because what he's passionate about is showing people their worth, making sure that people know, like,
success.
You're not worth $16 an hour. You're worth $100 million if you can make that much, you know? And I think that what Brock's really changed my passion into is not running an industry, not running solar, but recently I just got my first long ass letter from one of our reps saying, you've taught me this, you've taught me this, you've helped me grow into this, this, and this, and nothing has been more fulfilling. I'd take that over $1 million check any day.
Yeah. You know, once you see people's lives change, or even like for me, like once you see like people around you like buy the cars that they wanted and like drive them, it's like a really fulfilling feeling. Like you're like, wow, you know, like, you know, 3 years ago I was sitting there and like I couldn't even afford an oil change in my car, and now like my boys, my group, my teammates are buying cars that they dreamt of. So it's extremely fulfilling, and I think that for me is my passion.
I honestly, I love when you're working and you get a text at 11 a.m. and some dude's like, I just made 20 grand, and you're like, let's freaking go.
Yeah.
I owe you a drink.
Right.
Yeah.
You win, we all win. I win, you all win.
Yeah. No, I mean, the feeling that you get when making a sale is euphoric. Like there's nothing like it.
Right. No,
like no matter how many times you do it,
it's phenomenal.
When you're sitting at the kitchen table or you're sitting there on that Zoom call and you make a sale, you know, it's exhilarating. You don't care how much you made. It's just like, you took this person's perspective, educated them the proper way on it, and are going to change their life. That feeling is
just like talking to that rocket at the bar and bringing her home.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. It's all the hard work was worth it.
It seriously changes, you know, no matter how many times you do it, even the same day, it's just like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
And I think for Horizon as a whole, I think that that's something that is really based on our core values, is helping each other grow, building somebody's self-confidence in themselves. And like, if you come and work with us, like, you're going to figure it out really quick. Like, everyone who is in our office and everyone who wants to work with us is there because they want to work with us.
Right.
I'm not holding anyone by a chain. We're not dentists here to pull teeth. We're here to help kids and to make use of their time, show them what they're worth. And I think as we show people that, and as you've shown me that, now I'm doing the same thing and showing other people that. And then Daryl, our rep who just wrote me that letter, is going to go do the same thing in 3 months with another rep that he brings on. And I think that's really what our core cultures are built around, is helping each other grow, helping each other succeed. And if you want to be a part of this group, we would love to have you.
Everyone wants everyone to win.
Yeah, we want hardworking kids. Like, if you ask
not just kids, by the way. I mean, we have reps that are 60 years old all the way to 19.
Yeah.
The whole company is.
If you're hardworking and you want to make some money and you want to grind, like, we are here for you every step of the way. We are going to show you exactly what you need to do from the second you first call me or DM Brock to closing your first deal to starting your own team of guys. Like, there is no limit to your potential at Horizon Energy Consultants. And that's truly what we believe in, is just helping each other grow as a company.
Yeah, like, we're a competitive bunch. We have competitions. We want to sell more than the next guy, but we truly care, or gal, but we truly care about each other. We want them to succeed. And like, if you have a problem, Chandler's going to jump in and help. Sam's going to jump in and help. I'm going to jump in and help. We're going to help you get that deal. And even reps will help get that deal for you. So like, we're competitive, but we're very compassionate. We care. We want everyone to win. And that's when you're going to build a truly beneficial culture, is that like, you truly feel like, you know, people are here to help. People want you to succeed. And sometimes they want you to succeed more than you want to succeed. But, you know, all in all, Horizon's a really fun place to work. I'm proud of what we've built. And we're looking for the next group of people to come in and kind of pave the way this summer. So if you're interested, make sure you DM me, and one of the three of us will be in touch with you, set you up with an interview. We're pretty selective about who we hire, but then again, you know, if you're fully going to commit to it, you're probably going to be the right fit. So looking forward to hearing from you all in the DMs.
Thanks, Brock. Appreciate you having us on, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Brock.